The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. The disciples of John the Baptist and of the Pharisees were accustomed to fast. People came to Jesus and objected, "Why do the disciples of John and the disciples of the Pharisees fast, but your disciples do not fast?" Jesus answered them, "Can the wedding guests fast while the bridegroom is with them? As long as they have the bridegroom with them, they cannot fast. But the days will come when the bridegroom is taken away from them, and then they will fast on that day. No one sews a piece of unshrunken cloth on an old cloak. If he does, its fullness pulls away the new from the old, and the tear gets worse. Likewise, no one pours new wine into old wineskins. Otherwise, the wine will burst the skins, and both the wine and the skins are ruined. Rather, new wine is poured into fresh wineskins." The Gospel of the Lord. What do we make of all of this? The wine and the wineskins. One of the things that we need to remember is that new wine, grape juice, recently pressed, begins fermenting almost immediately. In those days, before refrigeration and pasteurization, there was no way to prevent grape juice from fermenting. So it begins to ferment. What happens when it ferments? Well, the yeast is gobbling up the sugar and producing carbon dioxide on the one hand and alcohol on the other hand. It's the carbon dioxide that escapes and makes it bubbly. And of course, the alcohol makes it delightful. So, you can't press grapes without getting wine. But if you put new wine into old and brittle containers, what's going to happen? The gas that escapes from it is going to build up pressure and burst the skins. So the idea that Jesus is speaking about is not just new wine that is fresh, but new wine that is still bubbling, that is still active. That's what he sees his teaching to be. That's what he wants us to receive. So, what about the old wineskins? Well, the old wineskins are really our old habits. And what are our old habits? Essentially, to stick with what's familiar, to stick with what's tried and true, and to not let ourselves be moved beyond that tried and true. So, what we need to do, at whatever age we are, what we need to do is be sure that we allow the Lord to move us into a new way of receiving him. And when that happens, we can be assured that he will continue, no matter what our age is, continue to move us more deeply in the paths of his grace.